What's going on, guys? Gabe here with ReviewDork. Today we have the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook, and I don't know if I ever imagined myself liking a Chromebook. I mean, for me, just looking at the designs prior, coming from Asus or even Google, the Chromebooks looked a lot like a toy, almost like a Fisher-Price toy. And so Samsung, as Samsung would do, decided to take the Chromebook up market. And you guys can see this here. It is in fiery red. I try to match my background with the device, hence we changed the LED color. But looking at this and just the build, it is a metal build. I'm assuming it is aluminum. On the backside, we have some ventilation here, and we're going to talk about ventilation, and we're going to talk about power consumption, and we're going to talk about overheating, because those are the things that people tend to care about. Now, when we look at this, it looks premium, it feels premium, and at 2.2 pounds, it's rather light. You see that wobble there? It is super light. I think I invented this. This is called the torque test. And if you can do this, then you know it's light. Alternatively, we're gonna try that with the Dell XPS. Now I know that it's a 4-pound machine, and we do that with something like a Dell XPS, and it's just clumsy. At 2 pounds, you guys get a visual as to about how light this is. And if you guys don't know what the torque test is, I dare you go ahead and take one of your laptops, again, if you dare, and just pinch it and see the strain it puts on your wrist. And you guys saw that here first. I'm not sure if other YouTubers are going to adopt it. Now back to this Chromebook here. It's a beautiful color. I can't get my eyes off of it. Applejack, what do you think about this color?
I personally don't like red, but red on that laptop looks really good.
You're at Starbucks, you're doing some data entry stuff. Everybody's got a Mac, it's boring silver, or maybe you got a Dell XPS, a Mac clone, also boring silver, and boom, got this. This color stands out. You look exciting. You look like you're writing the next Bourne Identity sequel. I love that movie. Whatever happened to movies like that, Bourne Identity. Applejack, you ever seen Bourne Identity? I tell you, he's missing out. Man, we need a remake. Yeah, that silver stuff, those are for Top Gun fans. I'm a Top Gun fan. Applejack, do you even know what Top Gun is?
I've heard of it.
Speaking of movies, this comes with a 4K display. So I want to show you guys how bright this gets. So we have limited the brightness on this display here because of the camera, and it's very easy to blind the camera, but it's also very easy to blind your own eyes. And we are at the midway point, but when we bring this all the way up, we're talking about over 750 nits of brightness. This is bright, guys. And it also leads us to my one gripe with this machine, but more on that in a second. You guys can see how thin this is. This is super thin, and while the Dell XPS is getting all the attention, even its base model costing a whopping $1,300, but you can see there is a major difference in thickness here. Major difference. Let's talk about these ports for a second. So immediately you see how simple this is, and we have a micro SD card slot, we have the power button, we have a USB Type-C, also dubs as a display port, and we have the garage for the pen. And this is pretty cool. I really like how Samsung has integrated the pen into the chassis. On the other side, you're gonna see you got the headphone jack, and then you have the other USB Type-C, and then we have the volume rocker here. So let's talk about the keyboard for a second, and I quite enjoy it. The key travel is firm. You feel that it travels. I like the layout. It doesn't feel as Mac-ish in my opinion. And I think I just noticed the reason. When we pull out the Magic Keyboard for the iPad, you could see that there's a slight concave angle to it on the buttons there. So your fingers feel like they're resting on the button. The Chromebook, you're just clacking away. Now, Applejacks did mention that the MacBook, or his MacBook, has completely flat buttons. Is that really the case?
It's not completely flat, but there's very little travel.
Very little travel. And so the travel on this feels limited but purposeful. You could definitely bang out 90 words per minute with this keyboard. So when we talk about trackpad, we're not necessarily talking about a trackpad with the same real estate as something like a Dell XPS, but I find it fairly accurate. And if you look at the real estate size, it's fairly similar to an HP Spectre 360, which is a Windows-based laptop. So it looks like this Chromebook, or at least Chromebooks and our expectations of Chromebooks, according to Samsung, they're maturing. So we want Chromebooks to look and feel more like laptops, and I can certainly appreciate that. Now, this is a Chromebook, but it's also a 2-in-1. Now, remember I showed you the backside and we were talking about the vents here, but also be mindful of these footprints here, because when you flip it all the way on the backside, you know, it's just about details here, but you guys can see it is fairly flush. So now we go back to the hinge. You guys could see it's a wobbly hinge. It's one of the two things that I wish would be fixed, and you probably will find that in the next iteration, which would ideally make this Chromebook hands down the Chromebook to beat. We did go to Best Buy and check out the Pixel Go, and it didn't look serious. For $649, yeah, it's a $249 difference compared to what this is, but I don't know, if you're traveling, you're sitting at the airport, or maybe at Starbucks, or who goes to Starbucks right now, right? We're social distancing, right? You're not gonna last more than 15 minutes, but let's say you're on the go. You don't really wanna run around looking like you have a toy, especially if you're doing some serious data entry work, doing spreadsheets, you know? You're important, right? You're important. This screams important with character. I love it. And of course, important people do important stuff, and important stuff requires power. And the more power you use, the more susceptible you are to overheating. And in fact, 2020, overheating seems to be like the theme of all laptops. Is it overheating? Does the G14 overheat? Does the HP Spectre overheat? The Dell XPS, does it overheat? It overheated in the 2019 XPS. Keep that in mind. But we did do a test. We gauged how hot this Chromebook would get with, let's count them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tabs, 12 of which are playing a 1080p video from Dave 2D, and then we have the final tab, which is playing a 4K video. And yeah, you could imagine how much power it's consuming and how taxing it is on the CPU, and obviously this display here. And as you can see in the camera, it's just beautiful. That is beautiful. But with all this going on, we barely cracked 90 degrees Fahrenheit on the rear end of the chassis and on the actual keyboard. That is somewhere around lukewarm temperatures for water. It does have a webcam for those who are gonna do some Skype meetings or just want to just chat on Facebook or something like that. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the camera. And again, you guys are gonna see it's really not that great. I'm not sure if we can get this on screen here. You guys are gonna see what I'm looking at, but see that there. Not that great. I don't know, not that great. Get me back on here. Whoa. Whoa, oh, you guys. Yeah, you see him? You see that funny guy right there? This is not the best video. This is coming from the primary camera. You could see Apple Jacks back there. And you do get some noise, but I guess it's suitable, and just not too sure if anyone would use something this big for video. So let's talk about who would use this. It doesn't necessarily have to be a guy who's doing some data entry work. Here we have a photo, and we are in Adobe Lightroom, and with this pen, you have granular control on everything here. From saturation, we could go ahead and change the saturation. I want to give a shout out to Apple Jacks for this photo. This is actually one of his pictures that he's taken with his clients, and I'm totally obliterating it right now. Like, you can see him on the other side of the camera just shaking his head like, what are you doing? But again, this is for showcase and demonstration. Maybe you are a photographer. Maybe you want a device that can go ahead and do things like this in Adobe Lightroom. So for video creators, this definitely no, just no. You're in college, maybe you're a professional, you just need words, spreadsheets, emails. Maybe you are a photographer and you want a device that's going to give you an accurate depiction of color and very vibrant, maybe a little oversaturated according to Apple Jacks, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to calibrate this, and if there is a way to calibrate it, I'll follow up in a video on how to calibrate the screen and get even better color out of it. But it is very, very, very impressive. However, it's also his Achilles heel, and we'll get to that in a second. But powering this baby is a 46 watt-hour battery. You get 256 gigs of NVMe storage. You also get 8 gigs of RAM and a 10th generation Intel i5 core processor. Whew, that's very long, but simple spec sheet. We don't have Intel Optane, we don't have any of that other fancy stuff. It's just very simple specs. And I think that this is meant, and overall as a machine, to be for very simple people, and that's not a bad thing. People just want to get stuff done. But I think that the color renditions on this, again, sRGB, 224%, that's rather impressive. The spec sheet, very, very simple. So it's just going to get stuff done, guys. This display, I keep talking about the display because the display is amazing, but it's also its Achilles heel. And in fact, the Intel Core i5 10th Gen processor, it's also, in as much as it's one of its selling points, it's also its Achilles heel. Now let me explain. So you guys could see how bright this display can get. And this is a power-hungry monster. It's a 4K OLED display. A 46, that's like trying to power this with 2 AA Duracell batteries. I guess that's the best analogy I could come up with. And then even with an i5 core processor, which in the 10th generation, Intel has done a great job in making sure that their total draw power way low, but again, for a device like this with such a small battery, and Samsung is working with Google, but I don't believe that any optimizations to the OS would yield much of a difference. Now, one thing you will find lacking in most Chromebooks is basically the power plan, the performance plan. So in most Macs, you're gonna see that when you're plugged in, you can set a certain power consumption parameter for performance. When you're not plugged in, you got a governor that goes ahead and just limits the performance just a little bit. You don't see that option in Chrome OS, and mighty guys, this is my first time experiencing Chrome OS. I really had a day to play with the operating system, so I'm still learning. But if you are a power Chrome OS user, make sure you chime down below and help myself or anybody else who's using a Samsung Galaxy Chromebook. Now, before we talk about the solution, let me just talk about how I feel Samsung might have failed on design here. In a world of USB-C connectors, they decided that their power brick is not modular. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, because I effectively had to use a USB-C male to male, and I do have a MyCharge battery bank, which has 28,600 milliamp hours, which translate to about 96.5 watt hours, which translate to about just shy of FAA regulations. So this is probably the biggest battery you're gonna find in any laptop. But what we did was we just plugged this bad boy in. So if you find yourself being a power user and then considering that we have a full charge on this, you get 4 hours, and then you could get 2 whole charges from this battery pack. Guys, we got a 12-hour machine. So does that give Samsung a pass for just a super small battery? No, it doesn't. But then again, when we're talking about stuff this thin, when we're talking about, look at this, the battery's gotta be as thin as cheese in here because it's so damn thin. You know, but we're talking about physics now. We're talking about battery technology. We're very limited in what we could do with the current state of battery tech. So I'm pretty sure Samsung put as much battery as the footprint would allow. For me, the battery's really not a deal breaker. I picked this up. I'll include a link in the description. You guys can get this at Amazon or Best Buy for just a measly $100, right? Anyways, Gabe with ReviewDork. I'm signing out. Peace.